Hello, welcome back. Hello. I'm Ryan. On this channel, I react to stuff mostly about the UK. Hence, the channel name. Anyway, this is Adventures in Naps. Yeah, I watched one of her other videos. It wasn't very specific to Britain, so hey, this thing is lesser known things about England. Britain or England or what, you know what I'm saying. Point is, everybody was like, watch more of her videos. So, okay, here we go.
Hi everyone, it's me. This week I wanted to share some observations I've had about England as a Canadian who's lived here for 2 years. Basically, I wanted to share some maybe like lesser known things. So if you are not British, these are things you probably didn't know about England.
Hey, I'm not British.
And if you are British, these are things that you might not realize other countries don't do. Either way, they're just my observations. Please, Lord, don't get offended. There is always somebody who gets offended. And again, I am Canadian.
And it's never me.
Living in the southeast of England, so these observations are from there. I'm not saying all of the UK is the same.
That's offensive.
Can't speak for everybody else, but these are just some things that I've noticed. I think those are all the disclaimers.
All right, yeah, let's get on with it.
I hope. So without further ado, let's go. I guess in my mind, I sort of imagined I'm just gonna do this like rapid fire. We're not gonna talk about it too much because then I'll just keep talking and then I won't stop talking.
Good, then I'll just talk about it forever.
And then this video will be like a million years long. Most things in England tend to use 24-hour time. So like bus timetables, train timetables, my calendar.
Tray time? I don't know what that is.
Calendar at work. So like bus timetables, train timetables.
Train. Okay, train.
My calendar at work defaults to 24-hour time.
Interesting.
But nobody says 24 hours. So the meeting might say 1600, but then your boss will say, remember that meeting at 4 o'clock? Don't forget. It's like this split between, you see 24 hours and you hear 12 hours. I mean, even the clock in my kitchen, like on the oven, is 24 hours. And that doesn't come natural to me, so sometimes I look at it and I it takes a minute.
That is super weird. I'm trying to think of something like analogous to that in the United States, and I can't think. Why would you have it written a certain way, but then you say it differently?
Math is not my strong.
The only thing I can think of is that people sometimes talk differently than they text. Like here in the Midwest, people say more like improper grammar. Like they'll say, he don't want that. He don't want that. But then when they text it, they'll say he doesn't want that. Some people. I don't, that's almost totally irrelevant. Let's keep going.
Also, I say math, but in England it's maths.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't like it. It's like how some people here in the States say splits. To me, and I think you guys do that too. Someone does a split. They're not doing the splits. They do a split. It would be like if he said he's doing the flips. You know, because someone did a backflip. He's doing the flips. Maths. Maths, at least there are more than one type of math, you know, so in that way it is. And we do say mathematics. Mathematics. Maybe it does make sense.
So maths is not my strong suit. The more you know. I've mentioned this before, there's no power outlets in the bathroom. This
how to use a hairdryer
genuinely annoys me. I know everybody's always like, it's a safety hazard. Why would you want power in a bathroom? Well, when you've grown up with it your whole life and then you don't have it, it's like...
So do you have like battery powered hairdryers? Or you just don't hairdry yourself in that location?
I gotta charge my electric toothbrush in the kitchen and that feels very strange to me. You know at McDonald's when you have that ketchup...
That's insane. I mean, here we just have GFCI outlets, ground fault circuit interrupter. I believe is what that stands for. Yeah, it's like a breaker that's right by the outlet. If any water gets on it, it just shuts off and you can turn it back on right there.
Ketchup dispenser and you like push the pump thingy and you have a little cup of ketchup In England, they have those for ketchup and some for barbecue sauce. That's different. I don't know. Again, I don't.
At Arby's, they have an assortment of different pumps. That's really the only place I can
In
think of.
England, they have thingy and you have little and
Yeah.
it's different. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is everywhere, but in the Southeast, a lot of the big grocery stores, the cashier will sit and scan your items, but you're in charge of bagging them. Which
Bagging.
doesn't seem like a big deal, but I used to work at Walmart back in Canada for like 3 months in between my first and second year at college. So I just needed a summer job, worked at Walmart, which is Asda, and I was expected to stand for my entire shift, you know,
I worked at Walmart too.
the full 8-hour shift, whatever it was, and you scan and you bag.
You bag. I like the Canadian. You bag. Yeah, it sucked.
So when I came here and all the cashiers at Asda are
Yeah, what the heck? They're all sitting down in their comfy seat. You know, I see this at Aldi's. That's how I know. Because that's like a German place. They're all sitting in their high chairs, literally. They don't bag it. They just toss it across the scanner. They almost don't need to be there. They're like a self-checkout. Just all they do, they're basically being paid to just do this. It's a pretty sweet job. I'd do it. if I was a teenager again looking for a job, hey, go work at Aldi's.
sitting on these nice comfy seats and they don't have to bag this.
Then again, I guess you guys are British, so you already work at places like this where you don't have to bag any. It's ridiculous.
Stuff. Like, man, that's awesome. So, I mean, I had to stand and bag and scan, so
And bag.
I'm not bitter or anything. I am bitter. Another thing I've noticed, most people in England drive standard cars, which is interesting.
Standard.
I don't know a
opposed
single
to like manual.
person in Canada that drives a standard car. Everybody drives automatic. It's just
Oh, I see. what you're
Canada, which is interesting. I don't know a single person in Canada that drives a standard car. Everybody drives automatic. It's just the way it is.
saying. Most people in England drive manual? Huh. How bizarre. But electric cars are becoming more popular, and I don't think there's any electric cars that like, yeah, because that would be, that's not even a thing, right? Can't have a like manual electric car. So you're gonna create this like generational thing, huh? That's gonna be it, huh? Because right now, super old Americans are the only people who drive manual still, and they're like, these kids don't even know how to drive manual. That'll be you guys.
Automatic is just so easy. I don't understand. But then I'm sure people are going to be like, you know, oh, that's not the real way to drive a car. You got to drive standard. And, you know, good luck with that. Raccoons don't exist in the UK, but foxes do. I've never seen a fox before until I moved to England, and I see them, like, sadly, quite a lot.
Raccoons, you barely ever see them. You just know you've been struck by them. You know, they've infiltrated your trash cans.
And I mean, I can't put the rubbish out the night before because the foxes will rip it open. It's basically the UK's raccoon. You can't put garbage out in Canada because the raccoons get in it with their little fingers and their thumbs, like they get right in there. Same thing with the foxes. They rip that stuff open. And it is not pleasant to pick up in the morning, let me tell you. This is just a side note.
Is that just in the countryside, or is that everywhere in England?
About the foxes, I'm sure all the British people are well aware. When two foxes love each other very much and decide to share that love together as a couple, it sounds like a woman is being brutalized in the street, like blood-curdling screams. So
Some humans have that same effect.
first time I heard foxes mating, I thought somebody was dying.
Have you guys ever heard turtles mating? You know what? I'm not looking it up. You can go look it up.
And I ran to my boyfriend. I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening? Something's happening in the street. Like, can you not hear this woman is screaming? And he's like, nah, those are the foxes. So don't let that freak you out. Just
So you're saying some people might be getting away with crimes because nobody bats an eye when they hear shrieking in the streets. They just think it's the
yeah,
fox.
I'm just saying. Almost everybody in, okay, I can't generalize. Everybody I've heard referencing the United States calls it America, which is interesting because I've never called it America till I moved to England. So in Canada, I mean, we call it the States, we call it the US.
I have found that interesting. Making videos, you know, I need to know what you guys call it, since a lot of my videos are me as an American. Yeah, you guys don't say like someone from the US or the USA very much.
We call it down south, but I've never heard really people call it America. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know why. I mean, it makes sense. That's what it's called. It's called the United States of America. So it makes sense to call it America, but we just don't. If you're living in England,
I mean, I always found it a little odd because America, like there's North America, South America, but everybody knows if you say America, you just mean the USA. Usually.
and chances are your mailbox is just like a slit on the door. In Canada, you'll either have a mailbox like on the exterior wall of your house by your front door, like a metal usually thing that you put the mail in, or you might have a mailbox at the end of your driveway if you're like more rural and the post guy just like drives along and puts your mail in these mailboxes at the end of the driveway. But for some reason in England, they scrapped the mailbox idea. Who needs one? Let's just cut a hole in your door with a little flap
Kind of
and
makes
just
sense.
shove the mail through. However, sometimes this sounds like someone is breaking into your house, so don't freak out.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, the real convenience of a mailbox is for the mailman. It's not really convenient as the homeowner because you have to take a trip down the driveway to get your mail. But for the mailman, he doesn't even have to leave his car. So, some people do have a slit in their door, though. It's surprisingly somewhat common, especially not in any like fancy house. I don't think there's a single fancy house that has that, but some smaller houses do have that.
Maybe. Lesser known thing about England, people tend to sign like texts or messages to people with an X or maybe multiple X's, but definitely at least just one. At
I've
first
seen
I thought
that.
this was like a flirty thing.
Me too. On MySpace, when girls from the UK would message me, I think that was like a hug.
It's like you're sending a kiss to somebody, like, excuse me? Pretty much everybody does it. I mean, we have a cleaning lady that comes sort of once a month, and she sends me X. You know, she'll be like, see you then, Alana, X. It's like, I've only met you like twice.
Maybe it is a hug.
X thing is quite like a polite thing to do, you know? I've had coworkers and almost like near strangers send them. So it's a thing. I've also learned that medicine packaging, like painkillers or like the boxes with like liquid cough syrup or whatever, all that packaging has Braille on it. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't think Canada does that. Like, why don't we do that? When using it,
Yeah. I guess you could make a case that Braille should be on everything. We need a computer that like has Braille. Is that a thing? Where like it pops out Braille, every word that's written on the screen, it like pops it out as Braille so that the blind people can read it all. Someone invent that.
an escalator, make sure to stand on the right-hand side and walk on the left-hand side. Failure to do so is punishable by death, basically. And with that,
I wish that was a thing here in the States. That was in the other video that I watched that really kind of sucked. That was the one thing in it that was interesting, that you guys have that very strict system. You stand on the right and you walk on the left. come to America, you're not going to get that. You're going to get stuck behind, well, everybody. You're going to have to squeeze between everybody if you're trying to walk up the escalator.
Hopefully, we've all learned something today, because every day's a school day. If you guys have any ideas of things that you'd like to see or for me to talk about, please leave a comment.
All right. Well, that was phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. Thank you to Adventures in Naps. Fantastic video. And thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see some more UK reactions and watch me learn some things. Or whatever, But either way, thanks for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow. I do this every weekday. Wow. Okay. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.